In a distant time and a distant land, a war was fought that changed a young soldier's life forever. Then and now, his life is one of duty, honor, and country. His life is also one of courage, endurance, and faith. With many young servicemen and women returning home wounded in so many ways from today's battlefields, Alan B. Clark's story of his own journey from wounded soldier to healing warrior is both inspiring and motivating. Alan is proof that a fulfilling, rich life without limitation is quite possible after a severe injury. Alan Clark was a young West Point graduate when in the summer of 1967, as a Special Forces officer, he was assigned to a secret mission deep in the heart of Vietnam. During a surprise attack by mortar rockets on his encampment, several of his fellow officers and friends were killed. Alan was severely injured, his life saved by the bravery of a young medic.
On the 40th anniversary of my wounding 4 years ago, there was a Dallas Morning News article, and he was interviewed, and he said what he had told me and what he really thought were two different things. He said, I recall I told the other man in the bunker that I needed to get some morphine and plasma because Captain Clark is dying. I was looking at him and thinking, no, no, no. And talking to Jimmy Hill in later years, we're in direct contact, and we email all the time, and we talk. He's seen me in Dallas and San Antonio, and I've seen him out in Florida, so it's great. Many of us do not have that closure when we are wounded on the battlefield to be able to have contact with that medic that took care of us, but I do have contact with that medic. He's become a great friend of mine. I've talked to Jimmy, and what Jimmy told me was that he'd just been in country a week, and that I was his first combat casualty. And so I've told Jimmy afterwards that if I'd known that I was his first combat casualty, doctors in the audience, I would have asked for a second opinion.
His life was irrevocably changed. Multiple surgeries and months of physical and psychological therapy followed. In the blink of an eye, Alan, once a healthy, self-assured officer, became a man with a broken body, experiencing the lowest of emotional depths.
That was definitely a high case of post-traumatic stress disorder. What followed, of course, were constant antidepressant pills and seeing psychiatrists for 6 years until 1973. I was in a desperate battle and conflict for the healing of my soul. I was scared whether I would ever walk again, concerned about these new legs. I had horrible consequences as a result of the choices that I made to serve my country and go to Vietnam when I didn't even have to go to Vietnam.
Discovering a deeper source of strength and courage than he thought imaginable, Alan found new purpose in his life. He became successful in both the worlds of public service and business, and has been lauded by internationally respected political, business, and journalistic leaders alike. Alan is the founder of Combat Faith Ministry, a nonprofit organization dedicated to the advocacy and support of military personnel and their family members.
Well, the ministry's purpose, first and foremost, is, I think, the title of the last part of the book. The addendum is called Battle Plan for Victory. We can have victory on the battlefield, and American fighting people have always won on the battlefield. We have lost when we individually come back to society and life, carrying the baggage from the war and overlaying that with the baggage of issues when we come back with our families or our child raising or jobs or our wounds from the war and so forth. But we can appropriate the things that I talk about and I teach about, and I bring and reflect to other people so that they can be they can have the peace and have a victory in their personal life, whether or not they had a direct victory on the battlefield or in business or with families and so forth. They can have an ultimate better chance at victory personally and peace in their life.
Alan's insights, born of victory and learned over a lifetime, help others through extraordinary challenges of life.
What I have derived and understand and have attempted to put on my website is the fact that most issues of life for either people coming back from a war and having post-traumatic stress from the war, and if they become dysfunctional, only then does it become PTSD as a disorder. But all of us in life have different issues. all of our different issues in life kind of relate down to an audit being able to be done with unhealed hurts, unmet needs, and unresolved issues. So if we do an audit, sit down and talk about the past and talk about the things that have bothered us, and if we do an audit of those things, we can then go to like a second column and we can say, okay, this is what it would take to meet that need. This is what it would take to resolve that issue. This is what it would take to heal that hurt. So then I say, okay, you audit the different things that have bugged you from the war especially, that are dragging you down on your baggage today, and you do this simple little process, okay? It's outside psychology, it's outside psychiatrists, it's outside antidepressants, and you look at one of those things. And one of the things is, as a classic example in the fog of war, was somebody made a mistake that caused one of your buddies to be killed, or you're angry at the enemy and so forth. You need to forgive first and foremost anything that you did wrong that caused somebody else to be hurt. Or you must forgive someone from the battlefield on your own side that did something wrong that hurt somebody. Or it's the omission, commission or omission. You do things, some little kid gets killed in a firefight, so you feel guilty about that. You don't know whether it's your bullet or not. Well, you must forgive yourself. So the basic issues are to relate to those different aspects of the traumas from the past so that you can get to them and they stay as post-traumatic stress that you're addressing rather than make you dysfunctional and become a disorder.
Alan chronicles his life in his book, Wounded Soldier, Healing Warrior, available on his website, combatfaith.com. Alan is a very sought-after public speaker. His presentations are inspirational.
Many of us have guilt complexes that we aren't on that wall. But many of us, besides the guilt complex in a way, are really hardened and lifted up in our faith and our dedication and our feeling that we have good luck and gone on to our life because we aren't on there. Because we aren't on there, because I'm not on there, we have an opportunity to tell our story. To tell the story of heroism and courage that we exhibited for that country, to keep it from going communist, and to be able to be free.
Motivational, and are deeply appreciated by a wide variety of audiences.
I do not consider that I lost my legs. And I hope these men don't feel like they lost something. We gave something to this country. We gave something to the cause of freedom of people that sometimes we don't give a doggone about. We can't speak their language. We don't understand them. Many times we don't understand why we're there. But we follow orders. We do what we're told to do. And I feel a little bit like that. But I gave them. I gave my legs. All these years after my severe wounds, I truly would not be who I am had I left Vietnam uninjured to return to that good Dallas life I had planned. But today, just as Sergeant Jimmy Hill saved me to come home in the physical world, my faith and my belief in my Savior, Jesus Christ, and my Creator God in heaven allows me eventually to go home to my Father in heaven. I thank you very much.
His presentations, filled with the universal message of victory over extraordinary challenges, are perfect for conventions or conferences, schools, business, or veterans functions, at-large venues, and small. Alan will have a most positive impact on your group. To arrange for Alan to serve as a speaker for your organization, please contact him by email, alanbclark@aol.com. For a deeper insight into Alan's life and transformation, his book, Wounded Soldier, Healing Warrior, is available for order on his website, combatfaith.com.